Hello, my name is Michaela Lynch, and today I'm going to be explaining to you why I believe sex education should be required in schools, hopefully to convince you to advocate for it. So, sex education should be required in schools to teach children about consent, healthy relationships, and physical health. Sex education is important to me because I, along with many women in my life, could have greatly benefited from understanding consent and personal health. And this is relevant to everyone who has a child, plans on having a child, is part of a relationship, or engages in sex, which is quite a bit of people. So children need to be taught what a healthy relationship is and how to seek help if they experience sexual assault or domestic abuse. Sex education is proven to increase protection, which can prevent sexually transmitted diseases, and it also prevents teen pregnancy, which is beneficial for society and young women who aren't ready to have a child. Did you know that every 72 seconds an American is sexually assaulted, and every 9 minutes that victim is a child? Children are especially vulnerable to sexual assault because at the hands of adults, the perpetrator is usually much bigger and stronger than they are. And also, if the perpetrator is someone that they know, they could be being manipulated into believing that the abuse is normal and okay. And that's why it's so important that they have an outside source to teach them what consent is, because they may not be being taught that at home. Sexual assault can be detrimental to the victim's mental health. It makes them 4 times more likely to experience PTSD or depression. Children need to know how to recognize sexual assault and how to seek help. "50% of all new cases of STDs are from people of the ages 15 to 24. When children receive sexual education, they're taught how to use protection to prevent these diseases. And they're shown to delay initial sexual intercourse. They're shown to have fewer partners, and they increase their use of protection. $180,000 babies were born to teen mothers in 2018. Sex education is shown to reduce teen pregnancy rather than abstinence practices, and preventing these unplanned pregnancies can keep teen girls from dropping out of school or experiencing gender violence. So some people disagree that sex education should be taught in schools because they believe that it's a private matter and that the parents can handle this discussion on their own. They could also believe that just teaching abstinence is the save-all. However, teaching children to just never have sex is unreliable because they probably still will. And even then, that won't protect them from experiencing sexual assault because they may not be engaging in sex, they may not have a choice. And it also won't prepare them for whenever they do enter a relationship or engage in sex, which would inevitably happen. And we also can't regulate teaching. We can't regulate parenting where we can regulate teaching. And so we can't rely on parents to teach the correct lessons, and these are dire lessons also. Children need to have a safe place where they can ask these questions without fear of judgment or punishment, which they would typically receive from their parents. Sex education should be required in schools to teach children about consent, healthy relationships, and physical health. It's imperative for preventing diseases and teen pregnancy, and also encourages healthy relationships with consensual experiences. So now that you understand the value of sex education, make sure that you're using your voice and your vote to elect officials that understand this as well. This is necessary for the future of our children and nevertheless our country. So explain to family and friends who may not understand why this is essential for our success. How important is it to you that children, the needy and vulnerable, are looked after for and cared for? I hope you know now that their ignorance does not necessarily equal their bliss. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something.